Greetings, class, and welcome back to Accounting 201. This is the Chapter 4 Comprehensive Problem 2, Part 2, that will be the assignment that you are going to complete on Friday. And the assignment will be simply to watch this video, go through the problem, complete the worksheet, the Excel worksheet that's available in the module, and then upload it into Canvas. And then there will be a question in the submission box you'll need to respond to. So to start with here, we're going to take a look at Valley Company's adjusted account balances from the general ledger on August the 31st. They give us these. Okay, so they're adjusted. They're ready for financial statements. They also give us beginning merchandise inventory and a list of items related to inventory transactions. They ask us to compute the net sales for the current year. Then they ask us to calculate the total cost of merchandise purchased for the year. And then they want a multiple step income statement and finally a single step income statement. So I'm going to start out here with number one. For number one, we want to compute net sales. And for net sales, we need to identify sales and the contract accounts that go along with it. So we have the sales account right here, and then we have the contract account sales discounts and the contract account sales returns and allowances. So we're going to calculate the net sales like this. The net sales will be sales in total, which is this $225,600, less sales discounts which is going to be $2,250, and sales returns and allowances. And that will be $12,000. So we're going to take the sales minus these two amounts, and we will calculate a net sales amount of $211,350. So that's number one, the net sales. And you need to show these steps in the worksheet you're submitting, how you calculated it. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go to number two and compute the company's total cost of merchandise purchased for the year. So we're going to go over here and we're going to calculate what they want us to calculate is the net purchases that they've made for the year. So we're going to start with the invoice cost of merchandise purchased. So the invoice cost of merchandise purchased, and that's going to be $92,000. We're going to deduct purchases discounts, so we say less purchases discounts received, and that's going to be $2,000 right here. So $2,000. And then we're going to also deduct purchases, returns, and allowances. Now with an inventory system we won't call it this, but that's what these are. We're not going to have a separate account, but we're going to basically follow these steps to calculate the net purchases or the total purchases. So this is going to be $4,500. And these two are subtractions, and now we're going to add the cost of transportation in, which is the freight cost that we paid. So we're going to add the cost of transportation in. This will be 4,600. Okay, so basically we're going to add the 92,000, subtract the 2,000 because that's a discount, and we're subtracting it. We're going to subtract the returns and allowances, and then add in the cost of transportation in. So the total cost of merchandise purchased for the year is going to be 90,100. Okay, so that's what we have, $90,100. That's number 2. So then we come to number 3, and they want us to prepare a multiple step income statement that includes separate categories for net sales, cost of goods sold, selling expense, and a general and admin expense. So if we go back up here to the problem, they tell us which items are counted as selling expense. Okay, we have sales salaries expense, rent expense, selling space, store supplies expense, and advertising expense. The remaining expenses are general and administrative. So in order to do this, I'm going to do something here and move this document down a little bit so we can look at it as we prepare our statement. So we can look at the trial balance as we're preparing this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the income statement on a multiple step income statement. So we're going to start with basically income statement. And the beginning thing that we're going to have here is sales, which is 225,600 less sales discounts, which is 2,250, and then sales returns and allowances. And that's going to be 12,000. So we have then net sales. Well, we add these together, and this will be 14,250. So we're subtracting that from sales. So net sales will be 211,350. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to calculate cost of goods sold in order to subtract it from net sales. So I'm going to come down here a little bit and show you how we calculate the cost of goods sold here. This is going to be a little bit more involved, but we're going to start with beginning merchandise inventory. Which is going to be what they give us up here, 25,400. Okay, 25,400. We're going to add the purchases, total cost of merchandise purchased, total cost of purchases. and this amount will be $90,100. So we have the total cost of merchandise available. So we have merchandise available for sale. Merchandise available will be $115,500. Then we're going to deduct less ending merchandise inventory. And if we go up to the problem again, we'll see that, which is right here, 41,000. So we'll come down here and have ending inventory of 41,000. So our total cost of goods sold is 74,500. This is the amount we're going to use next in this multiple step income statement. So we're going to have cost of goods sold next. And that's going to be 74,500. And that will give us a gross profit or gross margin. Gross profit or margin of $136,850. Okay, the next thing we need to do is identify the expenses, and we're going to start with those that they told us were selling expenses. So selling expenses include sales salaries expense, which is going to be 32,000. We have rent expense for selling space, and that's going to be 8,000. Then we have store supplies expense, which is 1,500. Store supplies expense, 1,500. And then we have advertising expense, which is 13,000. And I'm abbreviating here, but 13,000 is advertising. So then we're going to have total selling expense, that will be 54,500. Now the formatting I'm using here is typical for an income statement where we identify the totals on the right column and the details that make up those totals or subtotals in the left column. Okay, so the next part that we have is general and administrative expenses. So we have general and administrative expenses. Okay, for these expenses, we're going to include the ones that they didn't include here. So the ones that we've used so far, we've done the sales discounts, sales returns, we've done cost of goods sold, and all these. The only ones that remain are these three here, and that's going to be general and selling expense. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to have general and selling, general and administrative expense. We're going to have office salary expense. So we have office salary expense. That amount will be $28,500. Right here. Next will be rent expense, office. And that will be $3,600. The third one will be office supplies expense. Which is $400. Okay, then we have total general and admin expense. And this amount will be $32,500. So we have over here $32,500. Okay, once we have that, we can have total expenses, where we add together these two, 54,500 plus 32,500, we get 87,000 even. And then we subtract this from the gross profit or margin up here, 136,850 minus 87,000. So we have a net income of 49,850. Okay, that's part 3 of this problem, all right? Okay, so then we come down here to part 4, prepare a single step income statement that includes these expense categories: cost of goods sold, selling expenses, and general and administrative expenses. So I'm going to move over here because we're going to use this statement, but we're going to simplify it quite a bit. So in a single step income statement, we're not going to show as much detail. We're going to start with net sales right here. So let's go to do that in a slightly different color. So over here, this is the single step income statement. We're going to start with net sales. Which is this number right here. So we have 211,350. And then we're going to have expenses. And all expenses will be here, including the first will be cost of goods sold. Which we will use this number, 74,500. So 74,500. Then we'll have selling expenses. And we're going to use this number down here, 54,500. And finally, we're going to have general and admin expenses. And we're going to go down here and use this 32,500, okay? So we have 32,500 Okay, then we're going to do a subtotal here of all the expense, well, total all expense. So total expenses. Because we're doing this different, we're going to include cost of goods sold with the operating expenses. So the total here is going to be $161,500. Get there like a comma. And then underneath here, we're going to basically take this 161.5, subtract it from 211,350, and we'll get net income of 49,850. Okay, so this is the problem. This is the walkthrough for the problem. What you'll need to do is to complete these calculations in the Excel worksheet and submit it as the assignment for tomorrow, along with a response to the question. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you have a great day.